Joining me right now is the play-by-play voice of Upper Iowa football, Joe Stasi, following the Peacocks' 41-20 loss last Saturday on the road at Augustana. I know a tough outing for Upper Iowa last week, Joe. They were down 31-3 at halftime and really found that a very difficult challenge, as they knew it would be going into that game.
Yeah, again, Elwin, thank you for having us on. Again, the folks at Upper Iowa University appreciate your efforts, and just to give Upper Iowa the just due that we feel it deserves, being the only NCAA Division II school in the state of Iowa. And so, we headed up to Augie last week with a 5-3 record, coming off our first win ever against Augustana the previous year at Harms-Eichscheid Stadium, 1-8 lifetime against these folks. A very traditional power. They have been for a long time at the NCAA Division II level. They're very deep. They have numbers, and the luxury of going deep in the Northern Sun Intercollegiate Conference is just something that all of the truly great programs have. And we just didn't get off the bus. They came out, they smacked us in the mouth, they moved the football, scored on big plays, scored on special teams plays, and we moved the football fairly well in between the 20-yard lines. At the end of the day, we had 468 yards to their 367. We picked up 30 first downs to their 15. So you look at those numbers right there, and you think, gosh, darn it, the offense must have performed pretty well, but we just didn't score in the red zones. Turnovers in crucial situations. We were inside the 5-yard line twice and came away with a field goal out of it. So, you can't win ball games on the road like that. And so, we came out in the third quarter down 31-3, as you said, and made a nice little run of it. Brent Lammers, again, his second start as a true freshman quarterback, coming in after Dimitri Morales went down against Winona State 2 weeks ago. Ran it in from 5 yards out, a 7-play, 65-yard drive to make it 31-10, and then we cut the margin to 31-17. Trey McTaggart from West Delaware took in a pass from Brent Lammers, the Brady Boyschel kick, 11 plays, 58 yards. So we finished a couple drives to get to 31-17, and that was as close as we'd get. We got it to 34-20. A Brady Boyschel 22-yard field goal with 14 minutes left to play in the ball game, and that was all the scoring basically for Upper Iowa. And you look back and you say, okay, well, we went on the road. We didn't play as well as we should have. We gave up a special teams touchdown in big plays, and now we just fold it up and we go back home and we prepare for Wayne State College, which, as you know, it's always a good battle between these two teams.
Upper Iowa facing the Wildcats on the road this weekend, a 1 o'clock kickoff at Wayne State, Nebraska. This is an important game this weekend, not only for Upper Iowa, but for Wayne State. When you look at the opponents the two teams have left, this really is maybe the last legitimate shot, at least on paper, that the seniors might have to celebrate a victory.
You know what, Elwin, that's such a great point, and I'm glad you brought it up. Upper Iowa finishes at home not Saturday, but next Saturday against University of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. They're ranked number 4 in the Super Region 3 and in the top 10 in the nation. Wayne State College, on the other hand, after us Saturday, they face Minnesota State, which previously was number 1 all the way up through week, I believe, 7. They have a loss on the season. They're ranked 6th in the Super Region 3 in the NCAA. So those two schools, University of Sioux Falls, Upper Iowa's next opponent, and Minnesota State, Wayne State College next opponent, uphill battle for both teams to win those games. Not saying they can't, but the chances are against them. So yeah, these teams all week long are going to be, especially their seniors, are going to be looking at this one, and their coaches are going to be using a lot of sports psychology, getting these kids ready, because this is a winnable game for both squads. As you mentioned, Wayne State College is 4-5, Upper Iowa's 5-4. Again, this is a game that's always been really closely contested. Upper Iowa and Wayne State, 5 out of 9 meetings have been decided by 3 or fewer points, so it's always close. Wayne State has a couple of quality wins versus common opponents. University of Mary and Concordia. Upper Iowa beat those folks as well, and they're coming in off a very gutsy performance against the Winona State Warriors. Wayne State lost last week, 45-31, so both teams are coming in off a loss. And again, Wayne State holds a 5-4 lead in the series, so Upper Iowa a chance for their seniors to go out on a winning note, and a chance to even up the record all-time against Wayne State College.
We've mentioned in past weeks, Joe, Upper Iowa has put itself in a position for its third consecutive winning season, something that hasn't happened in about 50 years. So from Upper Iowa's standpoint, they can secure that with their sixth victory on Saturday. How important would that be for the Peacocks?
Well, you know, if you look back at Upper Iowa's football history, it doesn't have a lot of tradition in winning. And you go all the way back to the Division III days, which wasn't that long ago. That's back when I played, and well before my time in the late 80s to early 90s. The last time Upper Iowa put 3 winning seasons together in a row was the early 60s, and that was when Eb Ishide was at the helm. And so to have your third winning season in a row at the NCAA Division II level, I think what that automatically says to the rest of the country and the very valuable recruits that Upper Iowa is trying to get is that this is a program. And Tom Shea gets all the credit, if you ask me. He has assembled great coaches, and his folksy, down-home, I can trust you demeanor in life and in coaching gets these student athletes that can develop into Division II athletes. So it's very important for recruiting. It's very important for Upper Iowa University as a whole. And it's very important to the football program and the seniors to say, hey, I played college football and I was a winner.
If I'm not mistaken, the last 2 seasons that Upper Iowa won their 6th game, it came against Wayne State too, did it not?
You're right. You do your research, Elwin. Ironically enough, however it pans out, you know, we don't. The only thing in sales, the only thing you control is your activity. You don't control anything else. In football, you don't control your schedule, and you don't control who you win and who you lose to. But the last 3 years, Upper Iowa has come into this ball game with 5 wins, and each year they have played a top 10 opponent and lost after this ball game. So this has been a very important ball game now for 3 years in a row. We win against Wayne State. We are a winner. We've guaranteed ourselves to be winners. We'll bump our record up to 6-4, and then take on University of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, next Saturday afternoon at Harms Eyesight Stadium.
Wayne State, you look at this team statistically, Joe, I guess if there's one key that stands out, they appear to be very one-dimensional, and that's something I would think could favor the Upper Iowa defense.
Yeah, Upper Iowa defense has been smothering people all year long. Just tremendous athletes. Alex Wall, our linebacker, Javelle Rollins on the defensive line, Tate Thompson in the secondary, Nick Corley. Too many to mention in this short interview, but Upper Iowa's defense. Last week we gave up too many big plays, and that's uncharacteristic. Probably one of the lesser performances out of the defensive side of the ball, but Wayne State's very one-dimensional. They run the football 85% of the time. They have a kid by the name of Taylor Reedy who's only passed the ball 193 times, you know, in 10 games. He's got a completion percentage of around 50, thrown for 1,000 yards and only 6 touchdowns all year long. So they really like to rely on a kid by the name of Ryan Ludlow. He's rushed for 966 yards. He's big. He's physical. And Wayne State's big and physical up front. They will create holes. So it's going to be up to our linebackers to come and fill the gaps, and hopefully our secondary is not making a whole lot of tackles on this guy. If we keep this Ryan Ludlow, you know, under 75 yards, Wayne State's going to be in big trouble.
A lot to play for here coming up on Saturday. It's a 1 p.m. kickoff at Wayne State against the Wildcats. A 12:30 pregame show. Joe Stasi on the call. We'll have it for you here on AM 950 KOEL. Joe, as always,